this album I keep hearing you are so into, this Metallica San Francisco Orchestra album.
Have you
You
not heard the album? Have
I
you heard
have, but people have told me that you are obsessed with this album.
I am obsessed with
Okay.
that album. I think it's the greatest album Metallica's ever done, but I also think that, it's one of the greatest albums done. The way it was I'm a big fan of classical music, and maybe because I played the
Mhm.
violin for so long,
Oh,
but
wow.
to hear these, like, iconic songs, these hits from Metallica, but
Mhm.
hear them backed behind by this orchestra, it just gave this a new power behind the songs. I get chill
Yeah.
bumps when I think about it, and when I work out,
Yeah,
like
I'm actually getting it too, to be honest with you. I
yeah, when
love
I work
Metallica.
out and those it hits and then you can hear the symphony behind it and the
Mhm.
strings. I'm a big violin fan. It's one of my favorite instruments. I just
Mhm.
love stringed instruments anyway. Um, but just to hear that all that power and music to me is like just like wrestling, it really moves you, and a
Yeah.
song can take you to a place or a time in your life and you can relive that moment all over again, and they're so powerful because a good song will tell a story, a good song will take you on that ride so you can almost live it
Mhm.
with the artist that created that um song, and which is why I love songwriting so much because I feel like it's just a way to release that outlet of just getting your feelings, and sometimes you can't articulate these things in words or just having a conversation, but you can make it in lyrical form or in art form somehow.
Yeah.
It helps you. It's therapeutic, but that yeah, it drives me in the gym. It just,
Mhm.
or if I'm on a road trip and I'm driving, I'm just like, ah, I love feeling like music to me is just so powerful.
It's everything. To me, music
Yeah,
is everything. And
yeah,
one thing about that album I thought was special is because of Metallica, how many different changes they have in their songs.
yeah,
So with all those changes already without the orchestra is fire, right? It's
right.
pretty intense, it's dope, and it definitely it sets a tone. There's always something new that they always just switch it up during the breaks,
Yeah,
the pre-choruses, it's crazy.
it's
But
insane.
now you have an orchestra doing it with them. It's like this is like really
So
big,
beautiful.
like, you know.
Yeah, and I think it also bridged that gap because a lot of people thought of Metallica as like this heavy metal and raw
Yeah.
and screaming, but for a person who is an artist, it really could make you appreciate those changes, but also appreciate the story a bit more, I think, because people who weren't fans of hard heavy metal rock could then appreciate it from the musical aspect of like uh it presented it in a different way.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we're doing right now, this rock musical, The Last Match, and it's
Yeah.
to me is one of those, and I'm a co-producer on it, but when I talk, to Rachel and Jeremiah and the people that are a part of it, it's like it does bridge that gap between the theater world of people who take theater very seriously, but don't really that kind of look down at wrestling in the sense of like, oh, that's a different type of theater, right? But then
Yeah.
there's the wrestling fans who are passionate about wrestling, but kind of are like, oh, theater is kind of meh,
Yeah. They just
but
have a
it
label.
bridges the
Everyone's
gap with
labeling
like this
samples
rock
for everything.
music behind it, and it kind of pulls in everybody. And uh, it's an awesome show, by the way. If you get a chance, go check it out. I mean,
Definitely,
it's
everyone.
just coming
Please.
out, and it's just they've only had 2 showcases, but the soundtrack is already out. But that's why I wanted to be a part of it because I really felt like it was like this unique blend to kind of bring together all these audiences who just have this genuine love of storytelling in
Mhm.
different ways. So, yeah.
But I mean, music sets the tone when y'all walk out that ring. I mean, it really sets the tone. I mean,
It really you have to have a good song.
if you have trash music, it just sets it off
It's
bad to begin with.
listen,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter honestly, as long as you have that hard at least 30 seconds at the front that say you need that first 30 seconds to say, "This is who I am. This
exactly.
is
That
what it
pop.
is." Yeah.
Because sometimes you guys run into the ring and they play the music, and you know right away who it is, and the impact of how it sounds just turns it up a whole nother
Yeah.
notch. You know.
Well, I think that the music is a very key element to a person's persona and to their intro. I'm all about an entrance. I'm like
Mhm.
never cut your entrance. do your entrance.
Yeah.
Because that 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever it is all about you. Don't run to the ring and try to rush it. You need to relish that, because that's when the people are soaking it in, and then you have in the ring is when you back it up. But
Yeah.
always, you got to have a killer entrance.
I mean, I would assume the talent, you guys are soaking it up too. You got the fans screaming. You got
Yeah,
the
you
music
got to
playing.
relish those moments.
Yeah,
Why don't you throw
absorb
it
that
away?
love you getting, right? Or the hate, depending, heel baby, baby face. But I mean, either
Yeah,
way, you love it. If they booing you, that's beautiful too, right?
it
So
is beautiful, because that means if they're booing you and they're
you're getting a reaction.
your tail hold, then that means you're doing your job.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Right.
right. Hey, I know you gotta go. I got one more for you. So let's have some fun here. Aliens come down, right? They're cool though. They're cool.
They're
We
cool
all
aliens.
we
Okay.
all end up being friends with them. We find out over there, wherever they're from, wrestling's a big thing. Aliens are wrestling. They got TV shows, aliens wrestling. But now they hear about us. We doing wrestling here too. And they want to know about Mickie James. They talk to me. I'm like, look, Mickie James is a friend of mine. She's a legend.
Uh-huh.
What matches do you want them to check first to introduce Mickie James, someone who's been in the game for 20 years?
Oh God.
What would you like them to watch first?
They'd have to watch WrestleMania against Trish, I think. I
Okay.
think that was such a moment, because of, not just because of the match, because match-wise, what is it, a 5-star match? No, but the emotion,
Mhm.
in the arena that night, and the connection with the people, and just all of those things, it was magic. Um,
Okay.
God, that's so hard, because I relish and cherish every
Definitely.
storyline I've had, every moment across the ring with the girls that, we built that whole thing out of respect and love for the business and for each other. So it's really hard to pick one, because they're all so,
No, no, I don't want you to pick one.
yeah.
You can
I would
go
say
ahead and
that
pick a
one
few.
for sure. Um, I would say the Texas Death Match against Deanna.
Mm,
For sure,
yeah,
because
that
that
was
was a
amazing.
way of challenging myself that I'd not really done. I'd had hardcore type of matches before, but not to that level. And I think for the fact that it was incredibly powerful, because the knockout world
Power
championship
off.
was on the line as the main event for the first time ever as well. I
Mhm.
think the cage match against Victoria, um, when I wrestled her in the cage, and that was probably my second time in a cage ever. Um, but we were also the main event of the show in a double segment of TV. It was pretty electric, and it was pretty wild. Oh God, the elimination chamber match.
Mhm.
That would be, yeah, that was special. The Royal Rumble, for that moment alone, when the Forbidden Door was blasted
That
down.
was I was so happy when that happened. I was like, "Yo," that
Yeah,
was everyone was. Everyone was like,
yeah,
this is like some rock star moment shit right here." It was
right.
amazing.
The match against Beth Phoenix, when I beat her for the title in London, which was the first
Mhm,
time that championship had changed hands overseas.
mhm.
Um, that was awesome. God, I could just stay here. I could list them
Yeah.
forever, like, and I don't ever think maybe it wasn't because they were the greatest matches of the world, but it was because the emotion involved in the stories,
Mhm.
and so I've been able to do a lot,
Yeah, I mean,
more
I
than I
think
could ever imagined. So
when you have a match and we could actually feel it, like, and it feels like, you're not even you we know about what rest, like, quote unquote, and everything, but when you forget about all of that and you're just into the match so much, you're like sucked in. It's
yeah,
special.
it is special.
um,
It is
it
special.
definitely is. So I know you got a ton to do today, so I will just say thank you. I appreciate you. I got to ask this one. It's a quick question. Someone's dying for me to ask this. When you eat your cereal, do you put the cereal in first or the milk first?
Cereal first.
Of course, me too. You gotta
What are
pour
you?
it over it so you
Who
can.
puts in milk first? What, are they crazy?
No, I think they are. I think they're like literally like psychopaths. Anyone
The
that does
only
it.
time the milk is in first is when you're going back for a second bowl to
Facts.
reuse the milk.
Yeah.
And then it's already in there, and you're like, "Ooh, do I drink this milk, or do I have one more bowl?" And
Yeah.
typically, let's face it, we have one more bowl.
How could we not?
And
Right.
then we drink the milk, and then it's double sugary. It is, and then you're like, wired like that, running around.
What's your favorite cereal, real quick?
Oh my god. I'm a classic. I love some Honey Nut Cheerios. I love
Yeah.
Frosted Flakes. You can't go wrong with the classics. Always delicious. I do love the Cocoa Krispies. Big
Yes.
fan of those. And the Reese Puffs one, the
Oh
where it's
yeah.
chocolate and the Reese Puffs, those are pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Apple Jacks too. Apple Jacks. I don't know if it's the nostalgia for me because my grandma always had Apple Jacks in the house. Uh, but they're some of my favorite. I think it's the little buttons on the O's. It's like the
Uh-huh.
little special like sugar buttons or whatever. They're not buttons, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They're
Hey, it
so
was so great talking to you. Thank you so much. Make sure to check out Mickie James' all social media platforms. I'm sure you're already, and if you're not, please do. Also, Hard to Kill Impact Wrestling, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. Wow, spooky. This is going to be epic. Check it out. Thank you guys so much. And we out.